Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I begin in the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful. Welcome everyone. As is our tradition, we will begin today's program with the recitation of the Holy Quran by Dr. Khalid Minhas of Miami, Florida.
Assalamu alaikum, may peace and blessings of God be upon you. I'll recite a verse from the Holy Quran and give the translation. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا ولقد جاءتهم رسلنا بالبينات ثم إن كثيرا منهم بعد ذلك في الأرض لمسرفون. In the name of God, the most gracious, ever merciful, this is chapter 5, verse 33. On account of this, we prescribed for the children of Israel that whosoever killed a person, unless it be for killing a person or for creating disorder in the land, it shall be as if he had killed all mankind. And whoso saved a life, it shall be as if he had saved the life of all mankind. And our messengers came to them with clear signs, yet even after that, many of them commit excesses in the land. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Minhas, for that beautiful recitation. To all my dear friends, brothers and sisters who have logged on to this event, welcome to this, our 10-year commemoration virtual event that we are convening. And in these very difficult times, it is a true delight to be together to commemorate and mark this life-saving effort that has been held by the Muslims for Life Blood Drive campaign. We mark the 19th anniversary of 9/11 today as we fight COVID-19. We also mark this day as there are wildfires raging across the Western United States and other parts of the country as well. I'm here in California. We have a number of folks from all over the country. And it's our thoughts and prayers are with all of those firefighters who are fighting the fires, and for everyone who is reflecting on this, a national day of service and remembrance on 9/11. We all remember where we were 19 years ago. It's hard to believe that it's been that long. But for all of us, I'm sure, as it is for me, we all know exactly where we were. I remember that day well. It was my first week of law school, my first day of law school. And I remember I was in Boston, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and the United Flight 175 that was hijacked, that was taking off from Logan to LAX, that was the same flight my parents took to drop me off to law school just a few days before the attack. That was a very, very difficult day for me and for all of us. And I remember just seeing these images. In fact, I recall vividly that Elena Kagan, who's the United States Supreme Court Justice, she was the professor of the class I was taking. It was the first class of law school. And she stopped the class when we saw those images. And so when that happened, as I'm sure it's the case for everyone, there was just a lot to process. As an American Muslim who was born and raised in the United States, a second generation immigrant, immediately we saw this tragedy, and we saw that the people who had hijacked that plane, they actually looked like myself as I saw those images. And it was very harrowing to see what was happening and trying to process it. And yet, as we were thinking about how to respond, our thought immediately went to the idea of service, public service, and giving back and helping those who were struggling. And so as we were thinking of ways to give back, we heard from our leaders and our lawmakers, and I remember hearing from President Bush, and then throughout the years, we've heard different reflections when he made it a National Day of Prayer and Remembrance, and President Obama when he made this a National Day of Service. So in 2010, on the 10th anniversary of 9/11, our community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA, which is the nation's oldest Muslim organization, we're celebrating our centennial this year. We felt that it would be appropriate to start a campaign that was quite simple, but hopefully we felt that would be powerful, which is just to give blood, to give back by saying that the only blood that we shed as Muslims is to save lives. And that message we carried with us on that day, September 11th, 10 years ago. And we were joined in an unbelievable way by the American Red Cross, this unbelievable organization that had been at the forefront of serving America. And they had a track record that was just remarkable. And I remember having a conversation, we'll hear from Paul Sullivan shortly from the Red Cross, but I remember Paul having a conversation with the Red Cross representation and leadership 10 years ago, and how warmly they received this idea. And immediately we held a blood drive on Capitol Hill, in the corridors of Capitol Hill. And that became our first drive. And then we had a number of drives throughout. And we're very blessed to say that this life-saving effort with a number of blood centers, American Red Cross is one of our main partners. We've collected over 65,000 pints of blood in 10 years, saving as many as 200,000 lives, and partnering with so many people all over the country, interfaith communities, blood centers, just doing this act. And on 9/11, this is a very important day for us that we mark this. So today we're going to be hearing from a number of our allies in this effort, people who have literally helped us put this together, and we are indebted to people who have been supporting us for years on this effort. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to United States Congresswoman Norma Torres, who is at the 35th District of California, the Congressional District here in Southern California. Congresswoman Torres, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Amjad, for that introduction. Thank you also for the prayer that we started with. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this year's Muslims for Life blood drive. I want to recognize two leaders of the Ahmadiyya community here with us today, Dr. McCaul Ahmad, and the National President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, and Amjad Khan, the National Secretary for Public Affairs. I also want to thank all of the host chapters in the American Red Cross for hosting this annual event. Your partnership in our community certainly does not go unnoticed. I have to say that it is always a true pleasure to get to join my friends and neighbors in the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, whether here in the district or annually at your national convention in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, for a virtual, but unfortunately today it's virtually over Zoom. Each year for the past decade, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community honors the victims of the horrific attacks that took place on 9/11 by holding blood drives. On this day, 19 years ago, our nation was tested like never before as we witnessed more than 3,000 of our fellow countrymen and women take from their loved ones' lives in an unimaginable act of hate and terror. But the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has risen to meet this challenge, turning this very particularly a day of horror and pain into a day of service, love, and remembrance. To date, in partnership with a number of different blood centers across over 200 locations, the Muslims for Life campaign has collected over 65,000 pints of blood, which can save as many as 200,000 lives. Thank you for that. I personally have had the privilege of attending the Muslims for Life blood drives in the past, including in my district at the Ahmadiyya Mosque in Chino, and with the American Red Cross on Capitol Hill. Watching the Ahmadiyya Muslim community open their doors and their hearts to the public is truly a reflection of your values and desire to make a positive impact in the world. In your own words, love for all, hatred for none. Your powerful example of American Muslims serving America is the most selfless and pure manner of service that we can ask of each other. You are always there when America needs you the most. And that is also why your values and your leadership is so important. The Ahmadiyya community has been steadfast in their support for charity, justice, generosity, and understanding. In 2018, I was honored to meet His Holiness as a part of an inauguration of a hospital that your community built in Guatemala. I have since heard that that hospital is on the front lines of the battle with COVID-19 and providing necessary healthcare in the area. You also provide amazing social service work right here in my district, feeding the homeless every week for years. Such efforts clearly demonstrate the commitment the Ahmadiyya community has towards peacefulness and humanitarianism. Time and time again, you stand up for those who can't. You stand up for refugees, for immigrants, for children, for homeless, and the hungry. You are selflessly dedicated your free time and resources to helping those in need. Ahmadiyya Muslims are living out the true intentions of Islam in their daily lives in communities all over America. And once again, we are in trying times. And as we battle the current COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and racism, for us to succeed as a nation and overcome the challenges put in front of us, we must learn to support each other. And that's exactly what we are doing right now. Together, we honor those who lost their lives on 9/11 and help those who are here to carry on. As we remember the sacrifices of all of those who lost their lives on September 11th, let us continue to be unyielding in our commitment to support each other, serve each other, and love each other. I want to thank you again for allowing me to share this day of remembrance with all of you. And please stay healthy and safe by continuing to wash your hands and wearing your mask when in public. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Torres, for those very kind and heartfelt remarks. We really value your partnership and your leadership, particularly with this life-saving initiative and all your support for the American Red Cross for years. So it's really a privilege and an honor that you were able to join us today. Thank you. We will now turn to Imam Yahya Luqman, who is the Imam of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community based in Washington, D.C. Imam Luqman.
So Honorable Representative Torres, indeed all of our distinguished panelists, everyone watching this video conference, brothers and sisters, I extend to you our Islamic greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May the peace and blessings of God be with all of you. And may the peace of God be with you, especially in these trying times when a health crisis has taken hold of the whole world and which forces us to distance ourselves from one another. fires rage across our lands and in the hearts of people, causing turmoil in our communities. The state of our nation's economy continues to leave families in very dire circumstances. It is in these times that the noble and virtuous acts of service to humanity are needed most. A little more than 1400 years ago, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him, received God's revelation, like prophets before him, to call people together in recognizing the one unifying commonality in all of humanity. That is, that we are all created by the same God, and as such, to live harmoniously with one another, despite all the differences that exist among us. These teachings were given the name which they embodied, that is Islam, or peace. God revealed to the Prophet Muhammad these words in the Holy Quran, which were to reflect the lofty standards of community service for his followers. He says, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar." That you are a virtuous community established for the betterment of people. You enjoin goodness and shun transgression. The exemplary, noble life and mission of the Prophet Muhammad is also described by God in these words, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. That we have sent thee only as a mercy for all mankind. The Prophet Muhammad is quoted as teaching, "The gracious God will be merciful to those who show mercy to others. So you show mercy to the dwellers of earth, and the one in heavens will have mercy on you." On September 11, 2001, terrorists brazenly attacked our country and took the innocent lives of almost 3,000 of our fellow citizens. The actions of those terrorists neither reflect the teachings of peace nor the example of mercy. Indeed, quite the opposite. It is an unfortunate tragedy that throughout human history, people stray away from the guidance of God and inflict injury and pain on one another, from the time of Cain and Abel to current times. However, there is hope, and this hope can also be found in the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, who prophesied that a Messiah would appear again in the latter days to revive the true teachings of Islam of peace and service to humanity. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community was founded in 1889 by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, India. He claimed to be that very promised Messiah, and enshrined among the 10 conditions he established for his followers is the following condition. That is, that he or she shall keep himself or herself occupied in the service of God's creatures for his sake only, meaning God's sake only, and shall endeavor to benefit mankind to the best of his or her God-given abilities and powers. He further says, thus, to be kind to the human race and have compassion for it is a very great type of worship, and it is a great way to win the pleasure of the Almighty. Wherever the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has been established in the world, it is its community service work that is its hallmark, which is recognized by everyone. In some countries, the community has even established hospitals, clinics, and blood banks. And as Congresswoman Torres mentioned, in 2018, the current worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, inaugurated its first hospital in the Western Hemisphere, the Nasir Hospital in Guatemala. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community was established in the United States in 1920, and this year marks its centennial. Since then, from time to time, many chapters of our community have organized blood drives, but an organized nationwide campaign called the Muslims for Life was initiated 10 years ago. The purpose of this campaign is to affirm our belief in the sanctity of life for everyone and practice the giving of life with our own blood, and also calling upon people of every background, of every faith, to serve humanity in this way, that those lost will not be forgotten, and that for every drop of innocent blood shed on September 11th, Muslims will continue to donate their blood to save the lives of those in need. And especially now in these times when the global COVID-19 pandemic is taxing our health services, we will continue to serve for the benefit of mankind. I will end my remarks with gratitude to all those who have given blood in the various blood drives across the country, in the various chapters of our community, and to all the organizers and partner organizations such as American Red Cross. May God bless your efforts and everyone's sacrifices. Know that the Ahmadiyya Muslim community will continue to work with you to serve humanity, not for any recognition or accolades, but purely for our love and reverence to God and His creation, to uphold the virtuous teachings of our faith, and to fulfill our pledge by which we join the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and that is to endeavor to benefit mankind to the best of our God-given abilities and powers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imam Luqman, for those stirring words. Beautiful reflection. We'll now turn to Paul Sullivan. Paul Sullivan is Vice President of Donor Services for the American Red Cross. We're really delighted to have him on. Paul?
Thank you very much. And it is a privilege to be with you today and expressing my gratitude to all of you for what you have contributed across the country in terms of supporting our mission of helping donors help patients. And it really is a noble mission that we have, and I think our partnership exemplifies our humanity. As Amjad Khan opened with, right, I think 9/11 spurred all of us to be our better selves and to be drawn to service. And as Representative Torres highlighted, it's a day of now of love and remembrance. And I personally can think of almost nothing better to honor that impulse than to give blood. I have always believed and have been drawn to, personally, professionally, the notion of people giving of themselves. To me, it is, in many ways, almost the ultimate act of humanity to anonymously give your own blood, to put yourself in a position of sacrifice to help someone who you will never have the privilege of meeting, but know that you are supporting and caring for. And when we look back to 9/11, which is obviously a profoundly trying and difficult, heartbreaking time, each year we remember what we lost. We honor those heroes and loved ones who died that day, and we are drawn to action. And Muslims for Life in this community obviously has done tremendous good for our nation, for the communities in which we reside. To think about those generous acts of people helping people, and to think that this effort has spurred tens of thousands, literally over 60,000 people, to give of themselves is remarkable. And I, as Amjad shared his story, I was in DC at that time, and I was not yet working for the Red Cross, but I, like so many, was just drawn to want to do something and to take action. And so I shortly joined the Red Cross and started to work for this organization. And I appreciate just how compelling our mission is. And it is thanks to organizations like Muslims for Life and more importantly, the people within it that we're able to do the good work that gets done. So when we look back and we think about what we have accomplished, what you have accomplished, it really is the notion or the recognition that each of these 65,000 plus donations provided a promise of hope and healing, for a patient in need. We like to quote statistics like everyone to highlight the importance of what we advocate for and what we do. And one of the most important stats that we often reference is the fact that people need blood somewhere in the United States every 2 seconds. And if you think about that then and how often we need people to donate, it just shows the profound importance of organizations, individuals, communities to step up and support patients, right? And because we know these patients represent children, they represent our family members, friends, or the vast majority of time, strangers, who are confronting challenges in their health that require a transfusion. And to satisfy that need, again, we collect, and other blood banks similarly collect across the country, but we collect over 13,000 blood donations each day to support over 2,500 hospitals, right? And again, we highlight that just because it harkens to why these broad efforts and why organizations like Muslim for Life are so important for us in terms of recognizing the need, being spurred to service, and then candidly being able to move people in significant numbers. And while I too, as Representative Torres highlighted, regret that we can't be together, these virtual events are also a tremendous opportunity because in certain respects, perhaps we can leverage them, record them to live on even beyond the words, and through social media and other tools, again, spur people to action. And we are grateful for these 10 past years and look forward to many more in terms of, again, getting the word out. And I agree, now more than ever, we need communities to step up. The challenges of COVID-19 have affected all of us in every corner of every part of the world, right? It is sadly, but hopefully too, like 9/11, eventually something that will be marked by both recognition, remembrance. Hopefully it'll draw people to service. Hopefully it'll draw our communities to our better selves. But COVID-19 represents a tremendously trying time. And when we look back over these past few months, we have seen initially people understandably being nervous, afraid to come out and support blood drives. And then once we got the word out, as is so often the case, we saw people respond, right? It's a privilege working as part of an organization, a movement like the American Red Cross, because what I have seen and I saw after 9/11 and I see now in COVID is that when we share a need, when we ask, America answers. And we saw that this time. People have masked up, come out, and been willing to congregate for an incredibly important need, and that is to help patients who are struggling. And of course, we take their health seriously. We make sure we're socially distanced. We take every precaution to keep people safe at our blood drives. And yet we know that it represents a necessary risk. And so when I look back again to 9/11, I see some of the same challenges that we face then now in terms of recognizing that we all face times when things are either inexplicable or hard to understand. But I am heartened looking back and being part of this effort that when people have a chance to reflect, they're drawn to their better selves and as was said, drawn to service, drawn to love and to remember. So please keep the message in your forefront of your minds that we do need blood drives. We need donors. We need people to continue to step up and support us. Please come out to redcrossblood.org, make an appointment. Please support Muslims for Life, and please join me in expressing our appreciation for your advocacy, your leadership in this important way. So thank you very much for having me today, and thank you all to the folks out who have heard this message and who support us on an ongoing basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Wow, we really value the Red Cross's partnership. I mean, I've worked so many years, and so many of us have across our over 60 chapters. I just wanted to point out for everyone, we have a number of drives ongoing. We've been partnering with the American Red Cross immediately after COVID hit, and there was an acute blood shortage. The U.S. Surgeon General, of course, announced that. And I want to give a shout out here, an acknowledgement to Laura Dagby, who from your team, Paul, and the national folks at the Red Cross. She's just been amazing. I mean, I've worked with her so closely, and her responsiveness, her enthusiasm, her energy has led to us putting on a number of drives. These are just a few of the drives we put on just in the past few weeks. We have several more, including today, this weekend, and throughout, and we're going to continue to work with the Sleeves Up campaign of the American Red Cross to continue to work on this campaign. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that with everyone, and particularly honored and acknowledged all of the terrific leadership, selfless leaders of the Red Cross. So thank you again.
Thank you.
I'll now turn to Thomas Rice, who's the Legislative Director for United States Congressman Mike McCaul, who's in the 10th District in Texas. We very much value Representative McCaul's leadership. He's always been one who supports our blood drive efforts on Capitol Hill, also the Ahmadiyya Muslim Congressional Caucus, and he's just been a terrific ally for us and our communities in Texas. So we're really delighted to have Thomas on. Thomas?
Thanks so much and I'll keep my remarks short. The Congressman unfortunately could not attend, so he had me give a few words in his stead. And he just wants to thank the community and the caucus for its leadership with the blood drive and its continued success with the blood drive, and what an incredible mission it is. And in addition to the celebrating the 100-year centennial of the community in the United States and its continued work on behalf of strength, unity, friendship, and peace. He regards these actions as incredible and continuing the strength of this country in wake of hardships such as September 11th. And I'll just leave with that he has submitted a extension for remarks to the congressional record celebrating the community and this event. So we'll be sure to send those around, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Thomas. We appreciate it. And we appreciate all the support that Congressman McCaul has done, and everyone who's in Texas, who I know he's come to the mosque a number of times and supported the community in Austin, Houston, Dallas, all of the surrounding areas in Texas where our community is. So thank you again, we value that. Congressman Aguilar is here. Congressman Aguilar is in the 31st District of California. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. I just before I let you speak, I just wanted to mention that Pete, we're good friends and dear friends for many years, and he's been working so tremendously in the district, which serves San Bernardino and surrounding communities here in Southern California. Has been one of our strongest supporters for the blood drive work, has come to our blood drives as well, and we're delighted to have you on, Pete, please.
Thanks so much, Amjad, and I really appreciate everything that you do in order to make this happen. This is obviously a solemn day for all of us in the country, no matter your background or economic status, race or religion. It's important to take a quiet moment of silence for all the lives lost 19 years ago. We're all united in that remembrance and encouraged to do acts of service for one another. And that's the spirit of the blood drive and the Muslims for Life blood drive event. In your honor, I gave blood on Saturday last week here locally because it can change someone's life. Somebody who you don't know, it has an opportunity to have a lasting impact, to save someone's life. And the Muslim community in Southern California, especially the Inland Empire, as you know, Amjad, has always been so welcoming to me and my family personally, and has always impressed me with such selfless service. And so that's why I'm just honored to be here. I'm honored to be a friend of the community, and will continue to do anything I can to help out.
Thank you so much, Congressman Aguilar. I just wanted to acknowledge the work you do nationally and in the district in these difficult times as well, and all of the leadership you've shown throughout, including in the tragedies that took place in the shooting in San Bernardino County. And on this day, I remember and reflect on all of that work too, and all of those victims as well. And as this is a National Day of Prayer, our prayers are with all of the families of those victims in that tragedy as well. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Amjad. Wish you guys all the best and all the success, and I look forward to doing this virtually, or to doing this in person instead of virtually next year.
We look forward to that as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
So we'll turn to the video now. We've made a video about the Muslims for Life campaign. We hope you enjoy it.
The nation's oldest Muslim organization invites all Americans to unite and remember the tragic day of 9/11. Through its Muslims for Life blood drive campaign, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA has helped save lives all across America. Partnering with American Red Cross and other regional blood centers, Muslims for Life commemorates its 10-year anniversary. To date, in partnership with a number of different blood centers across over 200 locations, the MFL campaign has collected over 65,000 pints of blood to help save as many as 200,000 lives. Launched in 2010, the campaign marked the 10th anniversary of 9/11 to honor the victims of the attacks.
Jews or Christians, it's the same teaching which we do in Islam as well, and the sanctity of life is the message which we try to promote by doing the blood drive and saving lives on every anniversary of 9/11.
People in America have a very open heart and open mind, so it's not as bad in some other countries. But we still want to educate people and tell them that that minority doesn't represent Islam. In fact, they don't represent any faith because they are terrorists. They don't have any faith or any religion.
Working in a hospital, I use blood all the time, and we see patients who are for some reason bleeding or they have a very low hemoglobin count, and blood does save lives. Okay. And I've seen that firsthand, how many lives it has saved.
We are giving our blood, and we are asking people to donate their blood so that we can defeat the terrorists who have hijacked our faith, Islam. The other day we were at Mall of Georgia, and a woman came up and said that I used to hate Muslims. She gave blood at that drive, and she said that, you're doing a good thing.
Over the years, the campaign has drawn members of the U.S. Congress in a bipartisan fashion for an annual American Red Cross blood drive held in the U.S. House of Representatives, Capitol Hill grounds.
And there is simply nothing more life-affirming, no greater way to reject the philosophies of hate than a blood drive. And so I want to commend Muslims for Life, but especially the Ahmadiyya community for putting this together, being so successful last year, and I think you may be even more successful this year with hundreds of sites around the country.
As we recognize and commemorate the 10th anniversary, it is time to be sober, it is time to be solemn. And I think the effort by the Ahmadiyya community to give blood in recognition to all the lives that were lost is a very powerful statement. And it's important for all of us who embrace religions of all kind in this country to recognize that the Ahmadiyya Islam community is all about peace.
But one good thing that has happened is that the Ahmadiyya community, a Muslim community that is actually persecuted in other parts of the world for their beliefs, have decided and successfully is to collect what all people of all races and religious beliefs, young and old, men and women, need to sustain life. So the community is to be, I think, commended and congratulated.
The fact is that the Ahmadiyya community is setting an excellent example of service, and you really are living out your values and setting forth before the world who you are and what you're about. And there's a lot of ways to respond to a tragedy like that. You can become fearful and curl up. You can become enraged and angry and want to strike back. But one of the best ways to respond is to do something that is the opposite of what those terrorists did, which is to give life to other people. As they try to deny it, you are trying to confer it.
Donating blood in remembrance of the September 11th anniversary is a respectful way to honor those who perished, and it helps rekindle the spirit of unity and compassion that swept our nation in the aftermath of the tragic events that day.
There's no more selfless an act than to give your blood to save the life of another person. It is indiscriminating compassion. You do not know whose life you will save. As a Christian, my blood could be used to save a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Hindu or someone who isn't religious at all. In America, This is a country whose religious freedom has made a way for the greatest compassion on planet Earth. And this event on this important day is a symbol of it. And so it's a privilege to be here to bring greetings on behalf of the Commission for International Religious Freedom.
Local blood drives throughout the country have drawn many Americans and have been well received.
I came here today to donate blood because I believe that this is something that everyone should do. Life is very precious, and it's not very often that people emphasize life these days in a world of greed and corruption.
I used to help run the blood drive at my high school, and I fully support any organization like the Muslims for Life when they want to hold a blood drive, especially in honor of something like 9/11.
I try to donate blood when I can. It's really a small gesture, very small individual cost, and extremely important for the community.
I'm here at the wonderful Rayburn building in Washington, D.C., and it's been an absolute pleasure to witness and observe the Ahmadiyya blood drive. It's a beautiful day here in D.C. I appreciate the noble efforts on this beautiful day, and I look forward to learning more. Thank you.
God has taught good people, godly people, his own attributes, his attributes of love and of mercy and of compassion and of forgiveness. And that eventually these good people who have been taught these divine attributes, that they will be the ones that will overcome those who act in vicious and criminal ways.
Well, thank you for sharing that video to the technical team. I appreciate that. We weren't able to hold in person our Capitol Hill blood drive, which we've been doing for a decade, because the actual building physically won't permit it. But we have a blood drive going on right now in Rochester Hills in Michigan. And I wanted to take this opportunity to turn to our folks there. I think Nasir Bukhari, you're there. I can see, yeah, we got you there. In the Mahmood Mosque in the suburb of Detroit. We have a live drive going on with Red Cross. Nasir, can you report and see what's going on there?
So greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Greetings of peace for everyone. Thank you for the opportunity for showcasing our drive here. It is a beautiful day in Rochester Hills, Michigan. And I'm right here outside our facility, which is called Majid Mahmood. And we're holding our blood drive here. And coincidentally, it's being held on 9/11, and which goes hand in hand with our tagline, which is love for all and hatred for none. So in a minute here, I'm going to start walking towards the inside of the facility where the real heroes are and where the real action is taking place. And I'll hand this over in a few minutes to Imam Shamshad Nasir, who has been an imam of our community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, for over 30 years. Actually, he completed his 33rd year yesterday, serving the community and communities at large. So I'm going to start walking towards the mosque and go inside, and I'll join you in a few minutes after Imam Shamshad has provided us his comments. But before I do that, I'm going to focus in on another milestone we completed yesterday. And this is a little selfish part of me. If we can have the camera turned towards the minaret. This is the minaret that we just completed yesterday. And it's the latest addition to our community center. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Imam Shamshad.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace and blessing of God be upon all of us. First of all, I want to thank God Almighty, and then all the organizers who are conducting this program, and blood drive is going on over the country, many places, many chapters. You know, when this 9/11 tragedy happened, I was in Masjid Baitur Rahman, Silver Spring, Maryland. I was in the office. I received a phone call from one of our dear brother from New York, Ali Murtaza. He said, Imam, are you watching the TV? I said, no, I'm in the office. He said, please go and watch the TV. Tragedy has happened. I said, what? He said, to go and watch the TV. I opened the TV, then that Trade Center and Pentagon was hit by, and everybody was shocked and sad. By that time, our Amir, national president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, was Mr. M.M. Ahmad. He immediately issued a press release and wrote a letter of condolence to the President of the United States, Mr. George W. Bush. I thought that it was immediately after this incident happened, he issued this letter, he issued the press release. I want to read that letter also. He says in his letter to the President Bush, Mr. George W. Bush, President of the United States of America, dear Mr. President, we strongly condemn today's terribly vicious act of terrorism and atrocities committed on innocent civilians. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community of USA condemns in the strongest terms the despicable attacks and extends our sincere sympathies to all those who have suffered and will visit hospital and donate blood to all those in need of it in New York and Washington. Yours sincerely, M.M. Ahmad, President, Ahmadiyya Movement in Islam. And the copy of this letter was sent to the Secretary of State, General Colin Powell. So this is a historical moment, and after that, when this tragedy happened, this press release and a letter of condolence and other activities took place in the mosque and the whole the country. We mentioned that Ahmadiyya Muslim community, right from its birth, is condemning all kind of terrorist activities, rather whether it is from country to country, individual to group, or group to group. We always condemn in any form and shape where it is taking place. Anyhow, therefore, this is the reason that we always talk the love for all and hatred for none. The second thing is Ahmadiyya Muslim community is divine community, which always urge our members that we should discharge our responsibility towards God and as well as towards humanity. You know, this is not our style to commemorate death of any person or anything like that. It's not our Ahmadiyya Muslim community style. But if we are giving blood today, we can give blood tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 100 times during the year. And this is exactly our teaching. You know, in Pakistan in 2005, a Ahmadiyya mosque was attacked. Morning time, prayer time. And 9 people were killed and 19 were injured. We did not commemorate anything about that. We did not make celebrate any anniversary for that. In 2008, our 2 Ahmadiyya mosque was attacked. 90 people were killed on the spot and more than 100 was injured. We did not do that because we feel that we should serve the community. Our head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, President Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who is World War spiritual leader, he is always telling us, be patient, adopt the patient steadfastness, and try to help people in any capacity we can. So our lifestyle, our teaching is that we want to help to the people and we want to make a plan and program. As I read the letter of condolence of late National Amir, M.M. Ahmad. He mentioned in his letter, we will donate the blood for all victims, those who need. So by the grace of Allah, our Ahmadiyya Muslim community is working together in all chapters of the United States and all over the world, that wherever our help is needed, wherever our blood is needed, wherever we can help the humanity, we will be ready to help all that. You know, immediately after that, when the sad tragedy happened, and we appreciate the government of the United States immediately took care of worship places of the Muslim, because it was coming over and over in the news that these are the Muslim who attacked, these are the Muslim. So people were watching and listening, and it was something happened that people thought that the Muslim are doing, let us take revenge for the Muslim, and they attacked some of the mosques. So, and government of the United States took immediate action, protected the security to all mosques all over the country and for the Muslims. And we are thankful to our neighbors, our friends, everybody that took care of that. And they were coming to us, praying for us, and asking us if we need any help. And this thing happened. So we are thankful that when we held interfaith prayer, the Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, he visited our mosque, and he also sent a letter of thanks. On county level, county executive in Maryland, where our mosque headquarters is situated, Doug Duncan, he also participated our interfaith prayers, and he also sent a letter for appreciation of that we have opened our mosque for that. So we are here, Ahmadiyya Muslim community, to help, to serve all the human beings without any discrimination. And we are enjoying freedom of faith, to exercise our faith conscience in this country. We are thankful that today, by the grace of God, blood drive is going on in our mosque present in this time. So we pray for all of that. May God bless you all, bless all of us, and bless the humanity so that we can serve as much as we can serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Imam Shamshad. We really appreciate that. Those reflections, those historic reflections. We also welcome United States Congresswoman Jackie Speier as well. Thank you so much for joining. I know you've been just, I don't know how to put this in words, but Congresswoman Speier has been basically our strongest ally and strongest partner in this initiative from the inception. And we've actually sought her guidance and counsel and inspiration in working on this in Capitol Hill. And every year she supports this drive. Congresswoman Speier, welcome.
Thank you, Amjad. It's great to be with you. Great to be with everyone who's on our Zoom call this afternoon, and to all the imams. We're grateful for your religious efforts to make the world a better place. I must tell you that when Amjad was trying to decide what to call me, I think I'm your guardian angel for this drive every year, because I was so captured by your commitment to do this drive and do it every year. And it just speaks volumes about the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in the United States and around the world. Love for all, hatred for none. It is such a powerful statement. And it's not just a message, it is something that you do each and every day. Love for all. So it's a privilege to be with you this afternoon to recognize that this is the 10th anniversary of the Muslims for Life blood drive. I've been thrilled to be part of it and to give blood in the Rayburn office building a number of years. A couple of years I couldn't because I had gone to Africa, and that excluded me. I'm also a long time member of the American Red Cross. In fact, I became involved with the American Red Cross when I was in high school and went to their leadership camp. So I always give them credit for being part of why I'm in leadership in this country today, because I learned it in those early years in the Red Cross. So I just want to applaud you. You could have easily have made this an excuse year because we are in the middle of a pandemic, but you have not. You have committed to engage in this blood drive again. You have to date contributed 65,000 pints of blood to save over 200,000 lives. And COVID-19 has really been a strain on the Red Cross and blood banks across this country because the need for blood has grown so dramatically. So once again, it's not just words. Love for all, hatred for none is what you act on each and every day. So again, I'm grateful to be part of your effort. I applaud your continuing interest in wanting to promote tolerance to draw attention to the fact that there are so many Ahmadiyya Muslims in Pakistan and persons around the world who are minorities, religious minorities who are being persecuted, and why we have such a heightened obligation to not stand by and watch, but to act. And you continue to do that in your work every single day. So Amjad, and to everyone on the call, it's a privilege. It's an absolute privilege to be part of this effort. And you can count on me to do so in every subsequent year. And I'm eligible to give blood this year because I was not in Africa. So I will be doing it in honor of Muslims for Life, the Ahmadiyya Muslims for Life blood drive.
Well, thank you so much, Congresswoman Speier. You know, you're obviously someone that has been so selfless in giving blood for so many years, but also your leadership as the chair of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Congressional Caucus, your leadership in fighting for all of humanity, fighting for human rights. This long track record of distinguished service is not lost on any of us on this call. And for you to support this life-saving effort and to support the Red Cross and their leadership, I know they always are delighted to have you come every year. We look forward to seeing you in person very soon back on Capitol Hill. Thank you for joining today.
My pleasure. Look forward to seeing you soon too.
Well, thank you, Congresswoman. I wanted to see if we can go back to the live blood drive to Nasir Bukhari in Rochester Hills.
Thank you, Amjad. So we are here with Nasir Bukhari and with Kelly DeLong. Kelly DeLong represents American Red Cross here in Michigan. She's the regional director. Kelly, please correct me if I'm wrong. I must have butchered that title. So, yeah, okay. So I'm going to hand this over to Kelly to express a few words.
So I want to thank you for having us today. And it's very exciting. We've had a lot of great donors coming in today. Every donor will help save 3 lives. And I really want to express that every pint of blood helps save 3 lives. And we need blood every single day. Even during a pandemic, there's a need for blood. And blood is so special that a patient can only get blood by someone freely donating it. So this is such a great opportunity. They're so generous to us, the huge area we have. And so we just can all resonate that every day should be a blood donation day when you can give blood. So thank you for having us today. We're very excited about the people that have been here today. And we just love doing this, and we want to do it every 60 days because blood is needed always. It's a constant need. Every 2 seconds, someone will need blood. So think about that. Every 2 seconds.
Excellent. Thank you, Kelly. And
thank you.
And then I see that all CDC guidelines are being followed here of social distancing. I see that the two of you are sitting at least 6 feet apart, and I've got my mask on. People have their masks on. I'm going to quickly pan the camera real quick, Amjad, on the drive that's in progress right now. So I am inside the gym area within the facility, Majid Mahmood, and this is where all the action is actually happening. As you can see, this is a fairly large area, and I'm just focusing in from afar so that I'm not focusing in on, zooming in on anyone specifically. So this is where the blood drive in Detroit or north of Detroit is happening in a suburb called Rochester Hills, Michigan. Back to you, Amjad.
Well, thank you, Nasir. That's such a delightful live report. Really an amazing thing to be able to do that. Kelly, thank you so much for your words and your service. Folks like Kelly are working for the Red Cross all over the country. And they are just so helpful and selfless in arranging these drives. It's very easy to donate blood at these drives. I remember I was in and out in about 20 minutes giving blood a few months ago at an American Red Cross blood drive at the mosque here in Chino. We're holding another one this coming Sunday. And so we look forward to partnering with the American Red Cross because of this acute need, because of this difficult time. Here at the end, to wrap up, I wanted to acknowledge the work of our national partners, obviously the Red Cross and all the work they do. And our sister organization, Humanity First, they are an organization that's been working globally, but here in the United States for many years. And they are also our national partner to Muslims for Life. We're actually very Delighted to have with us Majid Khan, who's the Vice President of Development for Humanity First, which Humanity First works with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, the Red Cross, and Muslims for Life. Majid, thank you so much for joining. Please tell us a bit about Humanity First work and COVID, and of course, this blood drive initiative.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace, buenos dias, and good afternoon. Thank you, Amjad. Thank you for inviting me here. It's a great privilege to be amongst so many distinguished panelists. I'm here to represent Humanity First, a charity non-profit established in 1995 in UK by none other than the founder, who was also the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. 2020 saw a very different world. Humanity First was to celebrate their 25 years of serving mankind. And it turned out that this year became the year of giving, the most they have given since their inception 25 years ago. When the COVID started in March 2015, Humanity First responded by calling volunteers from all over the country. Within days, we had more than 700 registered volunteers across 38 states. The next step was, as the COVID expanded and the pandemic went on and on in different parts of the country, we partnered with 44 other organizations, and we had, till today, have served more than 1.3 million meals, partnering and located at 26 different places. This was not enough. We had to do a little more than that because the healthcare definition had been changed in 2020. So we decided to partner with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, of course, Muslims for Life, and American Red Cross. And how we did that we mobilized Humanity First student organization, which is in 19 different universities across the country, who has thousands of members. So they partnered with the other organizations, and we responded to this challenge. The other thing we did was that because of millions of people losing their insurance and so many losing their jobs, etc., we called for doctors to come together on a platform, the initiative Doctors for Humanity. And we tried to bridge the patients with the doctors on a very minimal expense. So that was something which we wanted to do over and above what we were trying to help the fellow Americans. On behalf of Humanity First, I would like to reassure all our partners that going forward, on every need, wherever Humanity First effort is needed, we will be working together and helping our fellow Americans in the times to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Majid Khan, for that update from Humanity First. We really cherish Humanity First work on the ground, especially in the university setting here, setting up blood drives. We look forward to working with the American Red Cross to set up more blood drives in the coming days and months. Thank you for joining for this event. We're now at our end. I wanted to take this opportunity to again to show the link where you can sign up and support this campaign. There's a Sleeves Up campaign going on with the American Red Cross. If you go to Muslims for Life, follow Muslims for Life on Twitter, you'll see all of the details. You can sign up for your local drives. We showed some of those drives that are coming up, in hopefully some in your locations as well. It's a simple act, but it saves a lot of lives. And on this solemn day, a day of remembrance, a day of service, we hope and pray that each of us can embody this true spirit, the true spirit of Islam that we embody as a community, to focus on giving to others, to serving others, and that is the best we can do to give back to those who are struggling during this time of a pandemic, and in the months and years to come as well. We hope to continue the Muslims for Life blood drive campaign in the coming years as well. Thank you very much for joining.